Hey guys, I'm having to do this from my phone because I was having hella problems with my computer and my microphone not hooking up, so it sounded all janky. So here we go. Sorry I didn't do the news last Friday. We had last minute called out of school due to a lack of staffing among the Omicron spike, which I'll talk about today. So everybody was here. It was just really busy. This week, though, we got some news. So 3 officers that were present during the George Floyd arrest and murder will actually be going to trial this week. The officer who physically detained and kneeled on George Floyd's neck, murdering him for 9 minutes, Derek Chauvin, he was found guilty of 2 counts of murder and withholding George Floyd of his constitutional rights last spring. And he received 22 and a half years with 199-day credit already served. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. 2 of the officers going to trial were rookies. It was like their first days on the job. Thomas Lane, who's 38, and Alexander Kung, I don't know, he's 28. And at some point during the incident, Thomas was on George Floyd's legs and Kung was on Floyd's back. The 3rd officer was Tao, I'm not sure. He was not a rookie, though. He was actually Chauvin's longtime partner and had a long list of misconduct and complaints against him. I personally think they're going to bring down the hammer on these people. I think they're going to make it aware that, police brutality will not stand, and co-conspiring with police to commit misconduct is not okay. Now, next up is a doozy. Biden is actually considering sending thousands of military troops, weaponry, and aircraft to Eastern Europe amid the Russia possibly wanting to take over Ukraine. So Putin, Russia's president, has been making threats to invade and reclaim the Ukraine territory. At first, it was just fact. But now Russia has actually beefed up over 100,000 troops with weaponry all along the Russian border. And members of the NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, do we call them NATO, or do we say NATO, or do we say NATO? Let me know. They have already deployed troops and weaponry. They're saying that the deployment is strictly for defensive purposes and that they're trying to have an open communication to avoid Russia infiltrating Ukraine. We'll see, though. Of course, everyone fears that once Americans deploy troops, Putin's going to be like, oh, I take Ukraine now. I take it. Biden had just pulled us out of Afghanistan, and he's saying that there is no military strategy to deploy additional troops into the Ukraine to where we got to stay there for 20 years like we did in Afghanistan. I highly doubt that's going to be what happens if Putin does invade Russia. Invade Russia. If Putin does invade Ukraine, I just don't see how Biden's going to keep from sending more American troops to Ukraine where the invasion is. Just food for thought. Okay, so Omicron has been hot and heavy, right? We were out of school Wednesday through Friday last week. As I said, school's back in session now. My kid's school does not do distant learning. And a few of my friends were like, oh my gosh, what if we have to go back on lockdown? I'm so afraid. That would be so, lame, blah, blah, blah. Here's the deal. The Omicron variant has led to less significant illness than the Delta variant did. And word on the street is that the Omicron is spreading so rapidly and has such lower hospital rates that we could have some stability and normalcy from this herd immunity, basically. So things are looking up, guys. Things are looking up. Ooh, I lost my place. Oh, okay. Carhartt is getting all sorts of backlash because even though the Supreme Court blocked the Biden vaccine mandate, saying that any company with over 100 workers had to be vaccinated or submit to weekly COVID testing, Carhartt was like, no. We are going to be enforcing that amongst our employees. I don't think that Carhartt knows their market, okay? Because most of their market is hardworking, red-blooded American, blue-collar people, and they ain't gonna stand for that shit. People are burning their Carhartts online. It's getting serious. It reminds me of when people who liked Nike decided that they were no longer going to support them and were lighting all their Nikes on fire. That is literally what Carhartt people are doing. Next, I want to address something. I read an article this morning about light bulbs and how we were supposed to have phased out all non-energy efficient light bulbs years ago, but they're still being sold and bought. And the article was literally blaming the Trump administration for this. Here's the deal. Here's something I want to talk about. The largest sales of these non-energy efficient light bulbs are in some of the poorest communities, okay? And the article did explain, and we all understand the logic, I'm sure. It costs more in the long run to buy cheap light bulbs than it does to spend the money on energy efficient ones, because you don't have to change them out forever. They don't cost you as much in electricity, yada, 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 yada. Okay. But there is a price difference. And the stores that are selling these non-energy efficient light bulbs said, hey, we do offer an LED energy efficient light bulb, but we are buying and restocking what is in demand. And in our communities, cheap ass light bulbs are what's in demand. You know why? Because we're poor. And when you are poor, you have to budget for the day. Okay, listen. This is coming from a girl that used to wear White Rain shampoo. Okay, I used to wash my hair with that $1 shampoo. And if you don't know what White Rain shampoo is, you need to wipe your ass with $1 today. Your spoiled ass. Okay, so I was really bummed out that they were pointing the finger at Trump administration when this is obviously an issue with the socioeconomic gap. That is the gap between really impoverished communities and then like the rest of the world. Okay, there is a significant difference in their day-to-day lives, and that is why they are buying the MF and cheap light bulbs. You guys, like, do better, New York Times. Do better. All right, let's touch base on our pop culture. So I talked to you guys last time about how the Sister Wives, Christine, was like, I'm done, I'm leaving, I'm out. And I watched the episode last night when it premiered, and it turns out that the breaking point for Christine was when Cody was like, yeah, I'm not interested in a sexual relationship with you anymore. And she's like, WTF? Like, I'm not cool with that. And he's like, why? I know lots of people who phase sex out of their relationship. And she's like, dude, are you kidding me? You have 3 other wives. Okay, it's just me now. I'm just not going to have sex anymore. I'm not going to have any intimacy anymore. Like, this guy, he was so shocked at her reaction that she was like that upset about it and wanted to break up. Because he's like, I just don't see the problem. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. I can say all day long, I know men that wear lingerie. I know couples that have sex with other couples. Matt ain't putting on a thong, and we ain't going to go have sex with other people just because that's what other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's no excuse, Cody. Do better. Do better. So that was really the breaking point of Christine in her relationship with the Browns. Okay, so I want to address one more thing. I would hate to be Kanye West right now. Okay, I'm going to put it down below in the comments. I want you to go look at the picture of him and his girlfriend at the men's fashion week in Paris, which I didn't even know was a thing. I did not know that was a thing. I was also told Velvet is out, and I love Velvet, so I'm obviously not with it. But they literally look like they're being sponsored by Shein. And for those of you who don't know, Shein is just like a company that takes a bunch of ideas and makes it into like extremely cheap, mass-produced for the public. So they literally look like they're sponsored by Shein. And I used to really want Kanye West shoes, but now I would be so embarrassed to buy anything Kanye West, like anything. The man takes himself way too seriously. Way too seriously. Okay, guys, have a great week.